One of the most talked about moments in Broadway this spring took an unexpected and alarming turn on Tuesday night. Thee Stallion, the Grammy-winning rapper who just made history on one of New York's most storied stages, was rushed to a hospital mid-performance after suddenly falling ill during a production of Moulin Rouge the musical at the Hirschfeld Theatre in Manhattan. The show stopped. The audience was asked to wait, and within hours, word had spread across social media and entertainment news outlets that something had gone seriously wrong. But what exactly happened inside that theater on Tuesday night? And how did things unfold in real time for the audience that was there? According to accounts from people who were present at the performance, the evening began without any visible signs of trouble. Megan appeared on stage as expected, performing in the opening scenes of the production in her role as Harold Zidler, the flamboyant and commanding MC character at the heart of Moulin Rouge. The audience had every reason to believe the night would go smoothly. Then, without warning, the show came to a halt. Theater staff addressed the audience, offered an apology, and asked people to remain in their seats while the situation was handled. An understudy stepped in and completed the remainder of the performance in Megan's place. Her departure from the stage was swift, and she was promptly transported to a local hospital where, according to her representative, her symptoms were being evaluated. The confirmation came from two separate sources almost simultaneously, which is part of what gave the situation its weight and credibility. Her representative, Didier Moraes, spoke directly to The Hollywood Reporter and confirmed the hospitalization in straightforward terms. Around the same time, Kellen Derrick, her hairstylist and close personal friend, took to his account on X to address followers directly. Derrick wrote that Megan had started feeling very ill during Tuesday night the production and had been transported to a hospital, adding that everyone at the hospital was asking for prayers on her behalf. His tone was clearly that of someone who was genuinely concerned, not managing a public relations situation. So what do we actually know about her condition, and has there been any update on how she is doing? As of the time this report was prepared, no specific details about Megan's medical condition had been released by her team or her representative. Neither the nature of her symptoms nor any diagnosis has been shared publicly. Her own social media accounts had not addressed the situation directly. What is known is that she was taken to a hospital, that her symptoms were described as being evaluated, and that the people closest to her were present. That lack of specifics is not unusual in situations like this, where a public figure's medical privacy has to be balanced against the public's understandable desire for information. Given the intensity of the physical demands she has taken on with this Broadway role, that context matters. To understand why this moment resonates beyond typical celebrity health news, it helps to understand what Megan Thee Stallion has been doing over the past several weeks, and why this Broadway engagement was already being talked about in historic terms. On March 24, 2026, she made her official debut on the Broadway stage at the Hirschfeld Theatre in New York City, taking on the role of Harold Zidler in Moulin Rouge the musical. That date marked more than just her personal debut in live theater. It marked the first time in the history of this production that the role of Zidler had ever been performed by a woman. That distinction alone made her casting significant. But the way she arrived at that stage, the preparation it required, and the nature of Broadway performance itself adds another layer entirely. So what exactly does it mean physically and professionally to perform this role 8 times a week? Broadway is not a concert. It is not a music video shoot or a studio session. It is a grueling, relentless performance format in which cast members are expected to deliver full productions multiple times per week, sometimes twice in a single day during matinee and evening show schedules. The role of Harold Zidler in Moulin Rouge is not a supporting part. It is a physically demanding, vocally intensive, emotionally charged role that requires commanding the stage from the very first scene. Megan had publicly committed to a strictly limited 8-week engagement, with the production running through May 17, 2026. She had been performing for just over a week when Tuesday night's incident occurred. The physical toll of transitioning from her existing career demands into this kind of sustained theatrical performance is something that even seasoned Broadway veterans talk about with respect. That transition, barely 1 week in, is where her body apparently signaled that something was wrong. Before Tuesday night, the engagement had been unfolding with considerable fanfare. High-profile audience members had already made their way to the Hirschfeld Theatre to see Megan in the role. Queen Latifah and Tiffany Haddish were among the notable figures spotted in the audience during the opening week, lending the production an added level of cultural visibility. The show itself had also been updated to incorporate 2 of Megan's own songs into the performance, specifically Savage and Body, which wove her identity as a recording artist into the theatrical experience in a way that made the casting feel organic rather than purely promotional. Entertainment news correspondent Lauren LaRosa, who was in the audience on Tuesday night when the incident occurred, reported on social media that Megan had appeared in a few opening scenes before the production was stopped and the audience was addressed. That first-hand account aligned with what her representative confirmed to major outlets later that evening. When Megan announced the engagement back in February, she addressed the opportunity in her own words. She described always believing in pushing herself creatively and called theater a new opportunity she was excited to embrace. That kind of statement, while common in the language of celebrity announcements, took on a different meaning given that she was stepping into a historically male role in a major Broadway production. She was not simply doing a cameo or a guest appearance. She was committing to 8 full weeks of performance in a physically demanding show, night after night. For any performer, that is a significant undertaking. For someone making their Broadway debut while also navigating all the other aspects of a high-profile career, the physical and logistical demands are compounded considerably. Which raises a fair question. How does Broadway typically handle situations like this, and what does it mean for the rest of her scheduled run? Broadway productions are structured with understudies precisely because the human body is not infallible. Every major production maintains backup performers who are prepared to step into principal roles at any moment, often with little to no notice. Tuesday night was a demonstration of that system working exactly as intended. When Megan left the stage, the show did not end. An understudy took her place and the performance continued through to its conclusion. Audiences were not left without a show. That said, the circumstances of a mid-show stoppage are unusual and drew significant attention both in the theater itself and on social media in the hours that followed. As of now, no announcement has been made about whether Megan will return to the production as scheduled or whether upcoming performances will be affected while she recovers and her condition is assessed. The broader story here is one that speaks to the ambitions and the risks that come with public life at this level. Megan Thee Stallion has had a career marked by both extraordinary achievement and genuine adversity. She has spoken openly in the past about overcoming personal and physical challenges. Her decision to pursue Broadway, to take on a role with real historical significance, and to do so in the middle of what has been an eventful stretch professionally, reflects a willingness to expand beyond what is comfortable or familiar. Tuesday night's hospitalization was not a planned part of that story. It was an interruption, the kind that no one anticipates and everyone hopes resolves quickly and without lasting consequence. Her team has indicated that updates will be shared as more information becomes available, and those close to her have asked for prayers and well wishes as her evaluation continues. For now, the Broadway community, her fan base, and the broader entertainment world are watching and waiting for word that she is well and on the road to recovery.